Good morning, learners. Welcome to Black Slides Online. This is a site where you have the privilege to learn the sciences and other subjects entirely for free. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel so that in future when I upload a new video, you become the first one to know or to be notified that a new video has been uploaded. So consider subscribing if you are new to the site, and also hit the notification bell so that you receive notifications every time I upload a new video. My name once again is Mr. Pochilola, your teacher on this site. Alright, so if you're considering to take full certificate, we also offer a full certificate on this site. That means you learn all the 6 subjects at the comfort of your home without having to attend a physical class. Alright, you receive lessons on a daily basis based on a planned timetable. Alright, so welcome to Form 4 Biology. We continue looking at the topic the circulatory system in humans. Alright, so where we are coming from, so far we've looked at the definition of respiration. We said that respiration is simply a reaction, a series of reactions in which biological molecules, organic molecules such as glucose, are broken down in the cells to produce energy, the energy we need to carry out different activities in our body. It's a very useful process. Alright, so today we continue looking at the topic, and we are going to be looking at, in this lesson, we are going to be looking at the different types of tissue respiration. Alright, so there are 2 types. Basically, there are 2 types of tissue respiration. Namely, we have what is called aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. So pay attention as we discuss these 2 types of tissue respiration. As we discuss, also be on the lookout for differences as well as similarities, because these are the areas where your examiners will test you. Your examiners will check your understanding of the processes involved in each type of tissue respiration, and also they check whether you understand the difference between the 2 as well as the similarities. Alright, so whether you're looking at aerobic or anaerobic respiration, both processes start with the first step, which is called glycolysis. Glycolysis is simply a process in which a glucose molecule is broken down or is split into 2 molecules of an acid called pyruvic acid. Alright, so we are saying that first and foremost, whether you're looking at aerobic respiration or anaerobic respiration, the first step is to break down a molecule of each glucose molecule is broken down into a different molecule which is called pyruvic acid. And this process occurs in the cytoplasm of the cell. So when you draw up a cell, I'm sure you're familiar with the parts of a cell. When you draw up a cell like this, an animal cell, right in the middle you have the nucleus. Right, you have the nucleus, and then you have the cell membrane. Strictly, this is an animal cell, and then between of course, you have other mitochondria, such as um, the sites where respiration takes place. You have other organelles inside there, the reticular, endoplasmic reticular, and others. So the process of glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm. So take note. They may ask you name the site where glycolysis takes place. It occurs in the part of the cell known as the cytoplasm. And also take note that the process does not require oxygen. So to split down a molecule of glucose into pyruvic acid molecules, you don't need this process does not require oxygen. So in other words, the process on its own is anaerobic. The pyruvic, the breaking of glucose molecules into pyruvic acid molecules is anaerobic, meaning it does not require oxygen. And take note, we are saying it occurs in a place which is called cytoplasm. That's part of the cell. All right. I'm sure so far so good. So we are going to break down each type of tissue respirations. We are saying that we have two types of tissue respiration, namely aerobic respiration and the anaerobic respiration. And the first stage of each of the types of tissue respiration is the glycolysis, whereby glucose molecules are broken down into pyruvic acid molecules. All right, so welcome to aerobic respiration. Aerobic. All right. So definition first. We define aerobic respiration as the type of respiration in which organic food substances are broken down to release energy in the presence of oxygen. All right, so the fact that the process takes place in the presence of oxygen, it makes it aerobic. It makes it aerobic. Aerobic simply means taking place in the presence of oxygen. Okay, from the word air. Aerobic is coming from the word air. Okay, but here the component of air we are interested in is the oxygen. All right, so the process requires oxygen, therefore it is called aerobic. They may ask you to explain, to define in 1-mark question, define the term aerobic respiration. It is the type of respiration in which organic food substances are broken down to release energy in the presence of oxygen. Aerobic means having to do with air, and the component of air that is used for the process is called oxygen. So like we mentioned earlier, the process begins with glycolysis. In which each glucose molecule is broken down, is split to form 2 pyruvic acid molecules in the cytoplasm. All right. Now, when pyruvic acid molecules are formed, they enter into the mitochondrion. Remember that mitochondrion is an organelle in cells, a structure in cells where respiration takes place. All right, so once the pyruvic acid molecules are formed in the cytoplasm. They enter the mitochondrion, where they undergo further breaking down to produce energy. So you need to understand this very well. So we are saying a glucose molecule, one glucose molecule splits into breaks into two pyruvic acid molecules. These then are broken down further to produce energy. All right, and the breaking down of glucose into pyruvic acid molecules is done in the cytoplasm. So once the glucose molecules are broken down into pyruvic acid molecules, they enter the mitochondria, the cell mitochondrion, where they are further broken down to produce energy, which is the main product of respiration, as we shall see very shortly. I hope I'm carrying you along. All right, so far so good. Unless you have a question, if you have a question, don't hesitate to leave us with a question, to drop a question in the comment section if you're learning on this platform. But if you are learning privately, don't hesitate to send me a text message informing me that I should explain some parts that I might not be able to explain properly as required. Okay, I'm here for you to help you to prepare for your exam. So there's no need for you to pretend that everything is all right. If you have a question, don't hesitate to stop me, and then I'll be able to come back to rectify anything that I might not have explained as planned. All right, so that's basically what we are saying. So the breakdown process in the mitochondrion is a process called the Krebs cycle. So we are saying pyruvic acid molecules enter into the mitochondrion and undergoes further breaking down to produce energy. So this process is called the Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle is simply a process by which pyruvic acid molecules are further broken down to produce energy. This is called the Krebs cycle. Take note. What is Krebs cycle? Cycle definition: it is when the pyruvic acid molecules are broken down to produce energy. Where? In the mitochondrion. So take note of these processes. Remember that we mentioned that glycolysis takes place in the cell cytoplasm. This happens in the cell cytoplasm, okay? But Krebs cycle takes place in the cell mitochondria. Take note where each process occurs, and I expect you to be able to define these processes very well. Glycolysis is when each glucose molecule is broken down into two pyruvic acid molecules, and takes place in the cytoplasm. All right. While the breaking down of pyruvic acid molecules takes place in the cell mitochondrion, and it is done by a series of processes which is called the Krebs cycle, Krebs cycle. I hope we are together there. My name once again is Mr. Pochilola, your teacher on this platform. Kindly consider subscribing to the channel so that every time a new video is uploaded, you become the first one to know. We continue looking at aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration produces energy as the main product. So we are saying the main product of aerobic respiration is energy. They may ask you, state the main product of aerobic respiration. It is energy, right? It is energy. The main product is energy. This is the main product. The most useful product of this process is energy. But alongside energy, the process also produces water and the carbon dioxide as byproducts. All right, so the main product of aerobic respiration is energy, while water and carbon dioxide are byproducts. These are also called wastes. So these are the wastes that are generated in the process of aerobic respiration. They are byproducts. All right, so during the process, during aerobic process, aerobic respiration, take note, carbon dioxide, glucose and oxygen react in your cells, in the body cells, to produce carbon dioxide, water, and a huge amount of energy, approximately 2,898 kilojoules. This is the same as 2898 times 10 to the power 3 joules. That's a lot of energy being generated from the process, aerobic respiration. So this is the main product. We're saying that this happens to be the main product, All right, carbon dioxide and water are byproducts. These are byproducts. They can ask you in an exam to state two main products or name one byproduct of aerobic respiration. So it's either carbon dioxide or water. Take good note of that. The main product is the energy, and the byproducts are carbon dioxide and the water. So in this case, glucose and oxygen are basically the raw materials. So you may be asked to sure about this. All right, for now, it is important for you to note to note that glucose and oxygen are the raw materials. These are the raw materials. The raw materials. They're going to ask you state the raw materials of aerobic respiration. Well, these two are the byproducts. The byproducts, and the energy is the main product. Make sure you know these parts for the sake of your paper. Now, notice also that this equation is called word equation because it consists of words. All the substances and the products as well as the raw materials are written in the English language in words. Therefore, it's called the word equation. But your syllabus also requires you to be able to write a chemical equation for the process. So the chemical equation here involves writing the names, the chemical formula of each of the substances involved. Glucose is C6H6O6, and oxygen is O2, while carbon dioxide is CO2, and water is H2O. All right. There's no chemical formula for energy, so make sure you know this number off by heart so that you can include it in your equation. All right. So what are we saying? We are saying that glucose C6H12O6 will combine with 6O2 to produce 6CO2 and 6H2O, and then you have energy of the magnitude 2,898 kilojoules of energy. This is called a chemical equation. There's a common problem that we see when marking papers, that students forget to include these coefficients, the sixes. All right, the usefulness of these coefficients is to make sure that the equation is balanced. Remember, this is a chemical equation, so all chemical equations need to be properly balanced. Don't present a chemical equation which is not balanced. So this is a balanced equation, chemical equation of a process called aerobic respiration. It requires the use of oxygen. Therefore, it is called aerobic respiration. Make sure you are able to write both types of equations, the word equation as well as the chemical equation. The word equation as well as the chemical equation. My name once again is Mr. Pochilola, your teacher in this forum. Don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel so that every time a new video is uploaded, you become the first one to be notified. All right, so continue looking at use of energy produced by aerobic respiration. We just said that the main product of aerobic respiration is energy. So where does this energy go? Okay, 60% of the energy that is produced is used to warm your body, to keep your body temperature constant. Remember that your body temperature, normal body temperature, is supposed to be 37 degrees Celsius. So in order to maintain this body temperature, the energy, the heat produced, 60% of the energy produced during respiration is used to keep your body warm at this temperature. Some of the energy is used in the cell for other processes. Right? There are different processes taking place in your body right now. So some of the energy is used to keep these processes running. All right. The remaining energy is converted to a molecule which is called adenosine triphosphate, ATP in short, for storage. So this acts as an energy store. This is an energy store. All right. So energy in your body cells is stored as a molecule ATP. Okay. So ATP is short for adenosine triphosphate. The A, the T, and the P are used to to form this ATP. Alright, so ATP is made by combining adenosine diphosphate, ADP, with the phosphate molecule. Alright, so we are saying that ADP, adenosine diphosphate, which is also a molecule, an energy molecule, combines with a phosphate to form ATP. Alright, so adenosine diphosphate plus a phosphate will form ATP. ATP. Alright, that's very, very important to note. So these are the three functions or uses of the energy which is produced during aerobic respiration. Make sure you know all of them, as I always encourage my students to do. Make sure you know all of them so that you can give any two if need be in an exam. It is safe to know all the uses of the energy produced during aerobic respiration so that you can give any two when required. Alright, so for aerobic respiration to take place, there must be some conditions available. We just mentioned that aerobic respiration requires oxygen. It also requires glucose and the enzymes. Alright, so we just said that glucose is needed as a substrate, as a reactant. So C6H12O6 must be present, that's glucose, and the oxygen gas must be present also, and so the process will proceed to produce carbon dioxide, CO2, water, H2O, and don't forget to put coefficient 666 and the energy. Alright, and this being a chemical reaction, it must be speeded up or accelerated. So we need the respiratory enzymes in order to do that. So enzymes are required. So three things are needed in order for aerobic respiration to take place. So you need the oxygen, glucose, and the enzymes to speed up the process. Remember that enzymes are biological catalysts, right? So the process would need energy it will need enzymes in order to proceed. My name once again is Mr. Pochilola, wishing you a beautiful day for now. When we meet again, we are going to continue looking at respiration, but now we are going to embark on a different type of respiration, which is called anaerobic respiration. So as we discuss anaerobic respiration in the next lesson, make sure you look for the differences as well as similarities between these different types of respiration. For the time being, let me request you to consider subscribing to the channel and also invite your friends to come so that they can learn with you on this platform. Bye bye for now.